Imagine waking up one morning to find that your entire life savings has vanished. Thousands of people believe they had found the key to financial freedom, investing in a scheme that promised unimaginable wealth. The mastermind behind it? A man who seemed larger than life, a self-proclaimed financial genius. But beneath the luxury cars, the extravagant mansions, and the promises of endless riches was a web of deception so deep, it shook an entire continent. How did one man pull off one of the biggest financial scams in African history? Where did all the money go? And most importantly, could it happen again? Stay with me, because this is the fraud that shook Africa. In the heart of Africa, where ambition meets opportunity, one man rose to prominence, promising prosperity to thousands. His name was Kofi Mensah, a Ghanaian businessman who captured the continent's attention with a so-called revolutionary investment scheme. He was charismatic, intelligent, and persuasive, qualities that made him a master manipulator. To the unsuspecting public, Kofi was a financial messiah, a man who had cracked the code to success. Kofi's empire, Mensah Wealth Group, MWG, seemed legitimate on the surface. It had impressive office buildings in Accra, Lagos, Nairobi, and Johannesburg. The company sponsored events, ran advertisements, and even had high-profile endorsements from influential persons and celebrities like Senator Emeka Okonkwo in Nigeria, South African business tycoon Dumasani Ndlovu, and Ghanaian actress Ama Serwa Boateng. These figures unknowingly lent credibility to Kofi's fraudulent empire. Living in a lavish mansion in Accra, driving expensive Rolls-Royces, and donating to charities, Kofi appeared to be a selfless billionaire on a mission to end poverty. But behind the glitz and glamour was a house of cards waiting to collapse. MWG's scheme was brilliantly crafted. Investors were promised unbelievable returns, money doubling in just 3 months. The first investors, the lucky ones, actually saw profits, which were merely payouts from new investors' funds. It was a classic Ponzi scheme, disguised as a tech-driven investment firm. Kofi and his right-hand men, Richard Dlamini, Chief Financial Officer, and Paul Ease, Marketing Director, convinced thousands of people, from teachers and traders to government officials and even church leaders, to invest their savings. Social media was flooded with testimonies of people who had supposedly become rich overnight. Fear of missing out drove even more people to invest, and the system thrived. Some financial analysts began noticing inconsistencies. Moses Njoroge, a Kenyan economist, questioned how MWG could guarantee such high returns without any clear business model. Investigative journalist Aisha Bello from Nigeria published an exposé revealing that MWG was not registered with any financial regulatory body. Yet, these warnings were ignored, drowned out by the noise of MWG supporters who labeled skeptics as envious and backward thinkers. Even when Samuel Tund, a Lagos-based banker, tried to pull out his investment early and was delayed for weeks, he still hoped for the best. Until the worst happened. The inevitable collapse came when investors started demanding payouts en masse. One morning, MWG's website crashed. Office doors in Accra, Lagos, and Nairobi were locked. Employees were nowhere to be found. Panic set in. News reports flooded the media. The biggest financial scam in Africa. Government agencies launched investigations, revealing that over $400 million had vanished. The damage was beyond financial. It was psychological, emotional, and social. Entire families lost their life savings. A retired school principal in Ghana, Madam Abina Nyarko, collapsed after realizing she had lost everything. In Uganda, businessman Fred Kinta took his own life, leaving behind a family in despair. Kofi Mensah had vanished. Some reports suggested he fled to Dubai. Others claimed he was hiding in South America. His associates, Richard Dlamini and Paul Ease, were arrested at a private airstrip in Johannesburg attempting to flee. The hunt for Kofi Mensah became an international operation, with Interpol issuing a red notice. A major breakthrough came when authorities tracked Madame Comfort Mensah, Kofi's mother, to a luxury villa in Seychelles, where she had been living under a fake identity. She claimed she had no knowledge of her son's whereabouts, but a forensic investigation of her accounts showed recent transactions linked to Kofi. 6 months later, Kofi Mensah was arrested in Brazil, extradited, and brought before an African court. The trial was broadcast live, drawing millions of viewers. Victims testified, breaking down in tears as they recounted their losses. Pastor John Osei, who had invested his entire congregation's savings, wept as he admitted how he had unknowingly led his church members into ruin. The tension in the courtroom was electric. Kofi Mensah, once a man of power, sat in silence, his once confident smile gone. The judge's gavel echoed through the halls as he read out the charges: fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. As the final verdict was read, gasps filled the courtroom. Despite his defense team's best efforts, the evidence was overwhelming. Kofi was sentenced to 120 years in prison, while Richard and Paul received 80 years each. His properties were seized, but most of the stolen money was never recovered. Even after the sentencing, the mystery remained. Where was the missing money? Investigators traced some funds to offshore accounts, but the bulk of it remained hidden. Some believed Kofi had managed to secure a fortune under false identities before his arrest. Rumors swirled that he had secret allies still working to move the money. Then came an unexpected twist. A secret journal found in Kofi's abandoned mansion in Accra. Inside were encrypted notes detailing accounts in the Caribbean, with cryptic messages about loyalists who would retrieve the funds when the time was right. The discovery sparked new investigations, leaving the world to wonder. Was Kofi Mensah's empire truly over? Or was this just another chapter in a much larger scheme? This story serves as a wake-up call. The fraud that shook Africa was not just about one man's greed. It was about the vulnerability of people seeking a better life. It was about how easily trust can be manipulated when desperation meets false hope. If there is one lesson to take away from this, it is this: if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Financial freedom does not come from shortcuts or magical investments. It comes from education, discipline, and hard work. Let us be wiser. Let us question before we trust. And let us never allow another fraudster to deceive us again. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. What lessons did you learn from this story? Have you or someone you know ever encountered a similar financial scam? What do you think happened to the missing money? Do you believe Kofi Mensah still has secret allies out there? If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on more powerful stories like this one.